And we are live.
Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, I guess. Welcome to the L1X Community AMA. We're excited. New month, new day. Definitely moving forward with a lot of cool things. Got a sneak peek at what Kevin's got lined up to talk about today. There's a couple of other little straggler slides put in there from Mike and I. And so, yeah, let's without further ado, let's definitely jump in and start talking about what we've got cooking and coming up and what we've accomplished over the last I think it's been almost 3 weeks since we last had an AMA, so definitely a lot of time to cover. So with that, I'll kick it over to you, Kevin.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to the L1X webinar. I do have a cough, so if you hear me coughing throughout the webinar, I apologize for it. I do sound a little like an old guy when I'm coughing, so if you're wondering where that noise is coming from, it's not Mike, it's me. Okay. Okay, let me share my screen. Mike is a younger guy than me. So, anyways. Okay. Can you guys see my screen, please?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Let me move it across here. Perfect. So it's been quite a while since we had the webinar. Just a quick highlights on Quantum DeX. Since we launched in the last 120 days, today is exactly 120 days. We have launched 58 pools in total. Most of them, of course, you'll see them in the secondary listing, but we do have some good primary listing that have been happened in the last couple of weeks. Over 7,000% average token growth. You can go in and you can click on any single pool and you can see the growth rate of the specific pool. It is available on the pool page. You have to go in. It's available inside the pool page. Around $4 million of liquidity has been locked. So there has been a drop from 8 to 4 million. And the reason for that is we had StackFi, which was, which launched on the Quantum DEX, but due to the token dumping from the StackFi team itself, and our liquidity pool, the way it works is it does not let you dump. The pool automatically got deactivated. So the StackFi team, when they tried to dump from the trading um, liquidity, they exhausted the trading liquidity and they tried to punch in to the base liquidity as well. The anti-rug technology that we have in the contracts did not let it happen, and it deactivated the pool. We did reach out to the StackFi team, and it looks like their intention was to remove the liquidity. So always, the team isn't doxed as well. They don't have their images of the team on their website. They don't have a technology. So to all the users who are watching this, always make sure that you do your due diligence. The technology can only protect you that much. Always do your DD before you go into any single pool on Quantum DEX. More than 400 plus tokens are already built and in queue through the token builder. We'll see in the next one over here. But congratulations to the Xtalk team. The token has gone up by more than 292,000%. And just a quick one here, I did make a social media post about it on X where I myself had over 75% LP in the Xtalk pool, which I successfully burnt. And the burn addresses are, or the link is mentioned in the Xtalk Telegram group. So over 75% of the LP that I had, which was 75% of the LP of the pool, has been successfully burnt. This is the first time when you burn something, people get happy. So, the people were very happy when things burned down. And we saw more buys coming in as well, which made us happy. So that's good. Also, one more thing I'd like to mention over here that, regardless of, we'll share certain stats later down the line, but regardless of, what's going on quantum DEX, I think one of the most important thing over here is the support of the community. It's just being very strong because 292,000% for any token to go up with, even tens of thousands of dollars of TVL in there is quite an achievement because people are not cashing out. Like you do see certain token pump up over time at these kind of percentages, but the community is holding strong. People are not selling, so that's a good sign. We do have good quality users on Quantum DEX. I think this is one of the testament to how sticky our users are on Quantum DEX, which we are building over a period of time. So we do have the Quantum DEX token builder, which has minted more than 400 plus tokens in the last around less than 150 days. Our mint is less than 60 seconds. You can mint your token, which is also gas-free minting, which has been taken up very well. So if you go and try to mint any token out there, it could be on ETH, it could be on any other L1 that you may. Certain L1s don't even have a free minter, but I think we are one of the only ones out there that's providing a gas-free minting facility to the users, right? Because you do have to spend, probably $10, $15, maybe $5. Plus, again, if you do have certain, functionality requirements, like you want to bind your token, you want to burn your token, you want to change ownership, then you got to pay extra for those functions, which we don't charge yet. And we will be adding more functions on the token builder as well. So you'll be able to manage each and everything from there. That's about Quantum DEX. Cody, Mike, Leo, anything I must have missed out? Do you want to guys want to add anything to this?
Yeah, I'd say the response have been pretty massive. The number of transactions going. I think a lot of people are putting in scripts as well. I think there are a few competitions, a quest going. Uh, you know, it's going well. I see how people are coming. They are interacting with the Quantum DEX. It's giving us a chance to improve on our infrastructure side as well. So, guys, yeah, just keep on pushing to what y'all are doing. Thanks.
Yeah, from my side, it's kind of fun investigating new Twitter handles that I'm coming across for projects that are introducing themselves and clicking on some and actually seeing powered by L1X and part of the Quantum DEX in their bios, which is kind of cool to see because we're getting to that point where I'm starting to lose track. We're getting so many of them on there now, and they're growing, but it is good. It's kind of fun. It's rewarding to see that. So we've come a long way, that's for sure.
Yeah. I think, Kevin, you've given a pretty good update there, but I think we also need to remember that some of the features that you built in there around that AI-driven liquidity, the bridges cross-chain swaps, as you pointed out earlier as well, the anti-rug measures, that's actually done its job, really. It's probably the best way to describe it. The tech is living up to the claims, which I think is really, really good. As it grows, we'll start seeing further adoption and becoming a very notable player across DeFi and cross-chain, which is absolutely fantastic.
That's right. And again, I think, because it's such a new technology, with the StackFi situation, it has proven that it works. And, our intention of bringing in more liquidity that also flows into the release pool, it was definitely, a very logical bet with the anti-rug tech that this was the beacon that we wanted to take and lead the whole DEX with. And without that, we may have never achieved our 58 pools that we have in 120 days. But I think it's also the momentum that is being created on the DEX in 120 days. That's like what, 4 months. So you compare DEXs that are out in 4 months. Of course, there are DEXs that have done better than us. But if you look at us from the percentile where we are, I think we will be probably in the top 5, top 10 DEXs this year that have launched, with these kind of numbers and technology.
Yep, and we've done a hell of a lot more than a lot of other layer one chains have out there. Again, that AI-based the loan mechanisms. It's an extremely novel idea, and projects don't need to bootstrap their liquidity from their own reserves and rely on heavily on external funding. They can borrow that liquidity, the capital, post the collateral, and launch pools much easier. What that's doing is lowering the barrier to entry. It's great.
Correct. That's right. Thanks for that. Moving on, one thing before I explain this slide. So our average buy value on, quantum DEX, where any user coming in from any network into L1X is around $200 to $250 per transaction, right? The average transaction value. And we've seen that, initially the users, that came into the ecosystem were the highest in July. And every month we do have new users coming into the ecosystem where the average value has kind of almost remained the same throughout these 3 to 4 months. And our goal right now is to make sure that two things happen. One is we get more users onto the DEX, which will increase more liquidity for us, which will increase, more buys coming in towards the protocol. And the second one also is transactions towards the protocol. Because, of course, the DEX in itself is great to create transactions on the protocol. But how do we, 10x that? How do we 20x that? Where we understand that quantum DEX has already been there for the last 4 months. It's gaining traction, it's gaining momentum. But how do we create a parallel system to create momentum, which independently is going to create more transactions, but also is going to support quantum DEX in creating more transactions? And that is where this concept of L1X Play comes in. Now, L1X Play as quantum DEX is available on L1Xapp.com. Is going to be a part of L1X app. And one of the interesting features of L1X Play is it's going to have its own, kind of, I'm not exactly, sweepstake model, but kind of a sweepstake model. But of course, it's going to be all done in a decentralized smart contract environment, taking care of all the legalities that we have to follow while offering such kind of, sweepstake-based games. But that being said, I think these kind of games that we are going to go out with, it could be based on Biscuit, it could be based on Avibo, it could be based on, so many different types of, even tokens that list with us. We're expecting, this whole L1X Play section to be kind of a user retaining strategy as well onto the L1X app, where the user time spent on L1X app also increases, making the game very addictive is one of the criteria. I'm not sure how we're going to take it, but these games are addictive because I'll tell you what, while researching for the last probably 60 days, let's say, on these things, I ended up playing these games for almost 1 hour a day to understand what is driving the users towards these games. And we're going to make it so seamless and so simple, where how you've seen quantum DEX, where if you're a new project, you come and list on that platform, and you borrow liquidity, you list in there in less than 5 minutes. Or as a user, you go and start trading from any network onto quantum DEX. That seamlessness, we're going to bring that to the L1X Play as well. And this is where we believe that non-DeFi users that actually want to give it a crack in terms of what an interoperable gaming infrastructure could look like, that is where we want to bring in L1X Play. So initially, it will be self-hosted games by the Layer 1X protocol. Of course, it's all decentralized on smart contracts, but our goal is to let third-party gamers also come in and build these games on L1X app and offer it to the users. So I won't give you the date, that it's there in the roadmap, but it's going to be probably one of the best Web3 gaming experiences you could ever have, or you have ever had in this space. So that's the kind of experience we want to bring to these Web3 games, which is going to drive in more users, drive in more liquidity, drive in more transactions, drive in more revenue. We all know what kind of revenues sweepstake models bring. I'm not saying it's sweepstake, but I'm just saying, even if it's close to something like that, what kind of revenues these kind of games bring. So that being said, we are very excited. I think, I have been thinking on this for the last couple of weeks, and it has already gone into development. We are already picking one game at a time. So it's going to be two types of games. I won't, let you know what games are there right now, but very excited for L1X Play, because this is going to be a whole new section on the L1X app to drive in, all sorts of things that we do require at this stage. Okay, so we do have L1X Swap, which got a major upgrade. So you can, swap. I think what? Oh, they didn't. They messed up the images. But anyways, we do have, the L1X Swap that has gone out with a major upgrade. So you can swap from any network to a Quantum DEX token directly. You don't have to go and swap to WL1X first and then take WL1X and swap it to the Quantum DEX token. You can go from ETH or PNB, for example, to Xtalk, Biscuit, Vivo, TSC, any of these tokens that you wanted to straight up. Not only that, if you are trying to exit as well, you will be able to do that. Now, one of the important things that I wanted to talk about over here while this exit strategy is in here is certain times when you are trying to exit from your WL1X or your project token out into Ethereum, you may see no quotes found. Now, what happens over here is there are two ways we could have done this. One way is we keep it completely open and let people go out, which which of course, which is not a problem because that much liquidity has come in as well. But on the other hand, we had to be very careful how we build this, exit routing model, because a lot of the hacks that you see today on DEXs are because of the way where tokens have been minted and the liquidity has been exited with, completely. If you look at the Canto DEX, for example, right, the whole DEX is dead because of one hack. And the reason there is, a system in place where it automatically updates, how much liquidity is available to go out based on, a couple of things, based on timing, based on, the price of the coin, based on, so many things, is to make sure that this, we stay safe. If there's something can, it's a technology, something can go wrong in the future, right? It's not, there's no technology in the world which is 100% safe. But if something went wrong, there is a way to prevent it from siphoning the funds out. That is why these technologies have been put in place. But that being said, the routers are open most of the time, so you can swap out if you wanted to. And the percentage of it being open at points in time is always increasing compared to when we launched. So that's good to know. You can also hop between tokens on Quantum DEX directly. So this has already been out and people are using it. So as I mentioned previously, if you've got, let's say, a TSC token and you want to go into Xtalk token, you want to go into CAT token, you don't have to go swap into WL1X back to that token. You can hop between the Quantum DEX tokens directly as well. It's just the experience that we are trying to improve for the user. Now, over here, one more update I'd like to give to the community is there have been users that are facing issues with the swaps at times. So what we are doing is we are updating the RPC model. What happens over here is in your MetaMask, if you've got more than 10, 15, 20, 30 different accounts, these 30 different accounts try to connect with the L1X network at once. And the way we have tried to structure it is we don't let such a lot of connections establish in from a single IP in such a way that it kind of detects it as somebody's trying to do something wrong. So we have worked on it as an upgrade, and we have deployed more RPC nodes as well. And by the end of next week is where you will not be facing any issues, at least from the RPC standpoint. So our development team, Lionel leading it, has taken that into into action. And we understand there are users facing RPC issue, but that should be solved pretty quickly. Yes, one more thing. We do know that it had been delayed a little bit, but L1X and Quantum DeX is finally integrated into TaskOn. So any project on TaskOn now can go in. While they go and create a specific task, they have multiple different options to create the task. So in the on-chain section right over here, we have L1X as one of the subtasks that you can create. And in there, we have started with the swap feature first because we want to push the swaps, right? And later on, you'll see multiple different types of actions like swap, stake. It could be create a token. It could be create a pool. But initially, we have the swap task that has been added. You could go in, you could select what kind of token you want to swap from, swap into. And this is good because it allows us to run co-marketing campaigns with the projects that are working with us. And TaskOn delivered what they said they would deliver. We did test it. It's working pretty much how it should be working. So we are happy with that. And we will be adding more features to it as we go as well. We have released a blog as well on complete we've completely deep dived into how the loan model works, because when the StackFi team tried to dump the tokens, that's the time I thought it would be great to let the community know exactly how this works as well. So we did release a blog under the hood, where it shows the smart contracts which are used. It shows the functional flow, it shows the code. Each and everything is in there. And this kind of helps, maybe if you want to chat GPT the link, or if you just want to go through it, it kind of helps to understand if there are 58 pools and 45 pools are being powered through this technology, why is your money safer compared to the other DEXs, right? Why can't somebody anti-rug this? I think just as a little bit of knowledge, maybe 5 minutes, if you want to spend on it, I think that's definitely a good idea. We are working on the mobile compatible version. While going through the roadmap, I'll go through this, but things are already in motion to get this mobile compatibility done. Not only the L1X standard L1X swap, but the whole quantum portal, including the quantum swap, will be mobile compatible as well. So each and every single thing on the quantum DEX will be mobile compatible. We will also be integrating Wallet Connect. So if you have Trust Wallet, you want to integrate any other wallet that you've got, you will be able to do that as well. We also released a blog on the loan model version 2. And the whole rationale of the version 2 was improving on the version 1 in terms of two things. One is the risk meter of the pool. And second of all is how these projects are going to repay the loan back to the protocol. So at this particular stage, what happens is, if you take a loan of $100,000, there is no application fee, number one. Number two, after 6 months, when your payment starts, and if you do not pay for 3 months, only then you go into the red zone, which has like a trading time of 9 months until a user understands that this project isn't a serious one. Of course, if they aren't doing marketing, aren't pushing out their token, you'll know that straight up. But because of no transactions going through the pool. But we wanted to make sure that the loan model captures these two characteristics as well. So right now, whenever a project borrows a loan, they will have to pay an application fee, which is upfront, 1% or 3% paid over a period of 6 months. And one of the other thing that's going to happen over here is the projects will be paying on a daily basis. So there are two options there. One is the project can pay manually on a daily basis. The other one is the project needs to maintain a healthy amount of free trading liquidity, where users know that, because the project has borrowed a certain amount of money, automatically from the pool, that loan will be coming out, so that, the project gets up and does something to make sure that the free trading liquidity there is not for the project only to go and remove that liquidity. That is being built so that with the loan amount that they have taken, they can repay that back over time from the free trading liquidity. This definitely brings in more revenue for the protocol as well, but more importantly, the release pool. Because right now, it takes until 9 months for the release pool to realize the loan amount that they will be receiving. With this in place, from the very first day a project goes live, taking a specific loan, and if they keep repaying that back, that amount, a certain part of that amount goes to the release pool as well. So rather than waiting for 9 months, we have thought, let's bring that up forward, and serious projects wouldn't have a problem with that, because the alternative over here is you either come up with the 1% upfront, or you come up with $100,000 upfront if you wanna start with $100,000 liquidity pool. So which one is it gonna be? Because that 1%, you can, that $1,000 is gonna help you live for the next 6 months until you can start repaying back the loan over a period of 2 to 3 years. So the alternative is you coming up with $100,000 on day one, which we all know is harder to do straight away for majority of the projects. Okay. In terms of the roadmap, we did launch swap from any network or token to or from Quantum DEX listed tokens directly on the 22nd of September. On 25th, we went with hop between tokens on Quantum DEX. We also went out with the L1X network integration into TaskOn that had been scheduled. On 15th of October is when the mobile version is supposed to go out, where the standard L1X swap, Quantum DEX portal, and Wallet Connect desktop and mobile integration will happen. 25th of October is when the custom price range is expected to go out, a couple of days here and there, but the custom price range meaning that when you are trying to add liquidity into the pool, you will be able to set up the custom range while you add the liquidity. 30th October is where the concentrated liquidity tracker, meaning if the pool is set up in a way where the liquidity is arranged across multiple different tickers or price points, you can't see that liquidity divided. You just see that as a unified block. So you will be able to see that through the concentrated liquidity tracker. We are also working on integrating the L1X swap and quantum swap into the X wallet, right? So that is also being worked upon. We haven't updated the X wallet in a while, so we are trying to make sure that these updates also go onto the X wallet. On November 7th of November is when we want to launch the first version of L1X Play. And of course, we won't be starting with 100 games. We'll be starting with a couple of games, and we are working on the smart contracts right now for this. But very excited because the mobile version, mainly having the quantum swap and L1X swap into the X wallet and having the L1X Play going out like in a matter of 1.5 months time, I think is definitely what we are looking for in terms of bringing in more users, more liquidity, and more transactions, more traction towards the network. I'll just take probably 5 more minutes and just address a few questions I think we had from the community. So the first one is with regards to the CoinDCX listing. So CoinDCX is a broker, it's not an exchange. And what has happened is they have to tap into MEXC, they have to tap into any other tier 1 exchange in order to go and read the order book. But we are listed on Octo, which is a CoinDCX product where users can go and buy L1X straight up. So even if you use the Indian App Store, you can see Octo wallet in there where people can buy and sell the L1X coin straight away from there. With regards to integrating Bitmart and LBank, they have mentioned that this year is what they're expecting to integrate them. So then we will be in the spot section of the CoinDCX app as well, right? But currently we are on the Octo site, so people can buy and sell if they wanted to. The second one was, will CMC and CoinGecko rank L1X without having a tier 1 exchange listing? Currently, it's extremely hard to work with these guys. Because we are working with them even on the quantum DEX integration. And we are also working with them while doing that on making sure that the total supply, max supply, which is correct information, but they haven't ranked it yet because they need to verify it on the contracts. It does not matter what exchanges you are listed on, as long as what I feel, as long as and what we have seen from the projects that are listed there, where some of them are only listed on the DEX. Um, as long as the supply information can be verified, right? So that is what I think is going to drive. And I understand the question, because if when we are ranked, I think we should be in the top 15 or top 20 when the ranking comes through. I'm expecting that to complete by this year, along with the Gecko terminal integration of quantum DEX. But again, it depends. It a lot depends on them. So let's see how we go with these guys. The next one is the release pool update. I think, if you go back a couple of webinars, two things. One is I did mention about the whole release pool in terms of the return as well. And then, of course, I mentioned that in September, we should see some traffic into the release pool go through. I think what happened was Quantum DEX, the number of projects coming on Quantum DEX did go up, but the quality of transactions dropped in September. And it was not the same as August. And we kind of think that, although although the projects, because what happened was all the good projects that were bringing in this volume, we were speaking to them before Quantum DEX went out. So there is a longer turnover time in bringing these good quality projects onto the DEX that takes, like a month, 2 months for them to come on. So whatever good projects we had, we exhausted that out in June, July, August. And in September, majority of the projects that came through, they came through, their self-listing process. But anyhow, I think, now that we have this whole funnel, Cody's working with me, Mike is working with me on this whole funnel building for the projects to get them on to the DEX. We do see that once these good quality projects come on, the net buy pressure on the exchanges will also increase, and that is where tokens into the release pool will also flow in. That's number one. Number two is the updated loan model. So the loan model currently waits until 9 months for the money to start flowing in, but with the new loan model, you should see that money flowing in from the first day the project list as well. There are a couple of tweaks that we have made, but again, as I mentioned, the release pool started in January. You got to give it at least another 1 year before you go and refresh that page again, right? Because I did mention the price that you came in at and what the price is currently, what it's trading at. So, giving it 15 months to 16 months, at least at the minimum, before you start judging if the release pool is even working or not. I think that would be a much fairer observation than observing it in 8 months, 8 to 9 months. With regards to the node stability, I think, and rewards, Lionel, do you want to update them?
Yeah, so I think usually all the active nodes, they get like close to 30 L1X every day, and like it acts as a validator, right, when the transactions go through, and that is when it's selected. Now, if there are 100 nodes, and if it only selects like 20, only those are selected. So that is how it's selected, and on that basis, we give the $50 rewards as well. So the USD that is given per month, that is just to cover the costs. But again, the L1X are given out daily as well for these users. Now, if there are users who are referring to the unstaking issues as well, so most of them are resolved. And if y'all are still facing an issue, please open a ticket, because I've been personally looking into the tickets every 48 hours as well, especially anything with the technical, like let it be RPC or any issues when users are trying to unstake their coins. So please open a ticket and we'll have a look.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think 30 L1X per day, we understand that's a lot. It was brought up by one of the community member, which we will reduce in the coming time. At the moment, at least until the end of the year, it's going to be the same. But after that, once we do see that, you know, because right now, with the active notes, you are breaking even as well because of the $50 given to you for that month. So, based on the next couple of months, how we see the release pool going, we might reduce that down, that number down as well. With regards to, I think the complete observation on what's going on. I think one of the community member put up the question as to how is the race? How did the race of L1X go? Right. So we did not. Well, we were speaking to VCs, but we did not get a deal that could have been done with the VCs but it's not stopped. We are actually receiving money from certain institutional investors that we've been working with. It's drip feeding the money, every couple of weeks. It's not the quantum that we expected, but again, the revenue from the swaps and the revenue from the quantum DEX have increased. That is good enough for us to break even our expenses and a lot of different things. But all in all, the deal that we got from the VCs, we did not want to take it because it was a killer. And let me explain how. When the VCs wanting to come in with, let's say, a minimum $10 million, that $10 million is not going to make our community members rich. Even if, let's say, we took the 10 million and put it back into, the release pool, it's not going to make the community members rich. On the other hand, giving the coin at a heavy discount and giving them the trading version of the coin, it's an uphill battle again from there on, saying that even if we receive 10 million, it's not going to be enough to keep pushing the machine even in the next 12 months. That is why we tried not to go a little hardcore into it. We tried to take a step back, actually analyze and focus more on the revenue generating activities. Like you saw with the DEX, you see with L1X Play, you see with the L1X Swap, and slowly and gradually push it and work with certain institutional investors that are taking the coin on a 12-month cliff, 15-month vesting, and only 20% discount to the trading price. Of course, we are giving them at a much better discount, like the trading price of previous times. But that being said, at least these institutional investors we work with, we know with a hand on our heart that these guys will not dump the coins. Other VCs, I could put a hand on my heart and say they will dump the coins. And it's a very there's no right or wrong answer here. But if we do give a $10 million worth of coins at a heavy discount to someone we do not know is going to dump the coins or not, that $10 million isn't going to solve the problem of the release pool, because let's say only 10% or 20% went in there. That $8 million would have to be used in such a way that it creates a $1 billion demand, which would then help our release pool participants, which is another gamble, right? Because what if these VCs go and dump the coins, and now the liquidity, the volume, each and everything, to push it back, we need another 10 mil. So there were a lot of different scenarios we went through. I'm just trying to explain very, very in plain English in a nutshell. But there were many decisions that we had to, see, because if something goes down now, we don't know how to recover from there, right? So we got to make sure that whatever we are doing now is we take, we measure 10 steps ahead before we walk now. That's why we didn't go through that. But anyhow, we are working with institutional investors, high net worths, to go through the funding. And again, as I mentioned, our revenues are increasing daily. Our goal in January, which was to increase the swap, increase the revenue, that's the same goal that we have today. And if there are any other updates that come through on the investment side or anything else from the market making side, we will definitely let the community know first. But we aren't holding back any information. We didn't just have any information to give except this, right? There was no deal done. If there was a deal done, definitely the community would know about it. But yeah. So all in all, transactions are increasing, users are increasing, the volume is increasing, the liquidity is going up. And the momentum is building up. It's been 9 months since the release pool went out. 9 months, it's nothing. So I would say at least give it another 1 year before you start to make a judgment if the release pool is any good or not, right? Because this momentum is going to flow in, and how much of the flow we can expect in the next 12 months is what we are working on. Like that's our goal. Like, that's what we are working on right now. Yeah, that's all from my side. Let's share my screen again.
Oh,
Cody.
all right. Yeah, it's me. I'll take that on. So, yeah. So after taking basically about a month break from our full out blitz of hosting and participating in spaces, as you can tell, I'm happy to say we're back, and we've already had a few episodes under our belt since being back, and I'm excited because we are actually completely booked out with pre-registered guests and panelists for our roundtable discussions for the next 4 weeks, which is awesome to have. And we're in the process of filling out the projects that are contacting us regarding slots to come on our 10-minute pitch show as well. And so definitely buckle up. We've got some good things that are definitely going to be coming out, and from topics to guests to a lot of different things that we're going to be pushing as well. So, since we've been kind of ramping these spaces up, I've had a few of our community members DM me with some feedback. And a lot of them were asking questions about the X Talk episodes, the strategy, that kind of stuff. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you for sending me those DMs. Again, we love to hear that kind of feedback from you guys, especially about topics that you want to hear, or if you want to get other projects involved in these conversations. Our conversations are always free, so why not? More the merrier, the better, right? So with that being said, some of the comments that I've been getting has been more so around like, I've really missed the X Talk spaces. I love the topics. I find them very interesting and engaging. And, other ones that say, I'm always learning new stuff. And like I said, I've got a suggestion for you for an upcoming space. So again, please keep that kind of conversation going, because it helps us optimize so that we can better serve you, help educate you guys, and also be able to attract new projects into the discussions that we're trying to lead. So, with that being said, I did have a really good in-depth conversation with one of the community members around the strategy. So today I thought I would just, before I give you some cool stats, of how performance we've done over the last month, over the last year or so, I thought it would be kind of fun just to kind of take a brief moment, few minutes, just to kind of explain how our success with the spaces strategy has come to fruition, and why it's been so effective across many different parts of our project, not just with marketing, and also explain why many of you feel drawn to the X Talks and state that it's always memorable, engaging, and educational as well. So the real reason shouldn't be a shocker to you. It's all actually done by design. So, if you're a crypto enthusiast, developer, innovator, or thought leader who participates and hosts and do things like that, you may want to listen up, because I'm going to drop some good nuggets over the course of the next few minutes, just to kind of, potentially help you, but also let you guys know that there is a lot of rhyme and a reason behind what we're doing, what Kevin and I have been kind of cooking behind the scenes, especially when it comes to these spaces and the growth of L1X overall. So, before we move on to the next slide, every Tuesday, tune in, 8 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. UTC, the 10-minute pitch show. And then occasionally watch out for those exclusive interviews. We do try to get those projects that we have worked with recruited, those one-on-one interviews to introduce you to the project and the project to our L1X community. So a lot of great ones coming up. I still got a little bit of a laundry list to work through on getting those people lined up. Everybody's just extremely busy. So with that said, let's go on to the next slide. So, why do spaces matter? Why do we even participate in this, right? And so, there's a lot of interesting things that we talk about on our episodes, but a lot of Web3 projects that I've spoken with, that I've participated with, that I've hosted as well, they all feel like spaces are just a waste of time, money, resources, and they are not effective by any means. I couldn't disagree with them more. For an example, $77 billion so far in 2025 has been a result of the meme market. And the memes have taken over some of the spaces, and they have driven a lot of money. And they've also, other platforms like YouTube and TikTok have really transformed the scattered investors into passionate tribes, right? And so as I've been talking to some of these other projects that have stopped doing their spaces, or even participating in spaces, to the ones that I engage with on a regular basis, a lot of them have made comments of like, you guys are so lucky to be able to have great success with your spaces, right? And it's really not, it really isn't luck, right? There's a formula to it. Just like if you look at Mr. Beast on YouTube, he's got that formula down that makes it work every single time that he drops a video, right? Spaces are no different. And some of those projects that are making these type of comments, they have tried to host and participate, and they keep failing. But why do they keep failing? Well, it's because they all come across and make the same mistake. And that one mistake is that spaces are not just about marketing. And what I mean by marketing is like they focus on trying to create awareness, grow their communities, and also drive sales from it. And that's great, but those vanity metrics are not what spaces are fully about, right? And those projects that utilize those vanity metrics with that type of intent will fail every single time, right? So, as we look to what the spaces are really about and what we're trying to do, if I was to try to explain this strategy to somebody like Kevin to get a sign off on it, our whole strategy is around basically making strategic relationships, right, at scale. And that's our whole thing and concept of what we're trying to do there. And so it's not a one-to-one type of relationship. When we connect with a person one-to-one through these spaces, it's actually one-to-many, because if we connect with a project on one of the spaces that happens to be a panelist, we're actually connecting with their community as well. And so our main objective is to establish and build trust, create authentic and emotional connections, and also foster a safe environment in order for us to, basically collaborate and create unity. And if you ever listen to some of my spaces, you always know that I always state that one of the ethos behind Layer 1X and the X-Talk technology of our interoperability is to unite crypto, right? Unite the chains, unite the projects, and create that seamless user experience. So when it comes to our spaces, we look to do authority, we look to build trust, we look to collaborate, we look to do unity and adoption. And a lot of the times, I'm not going to waste a lot of time going through each of these. So if you have questions on that, let me know. But our whole kind of concept that we're trying to do here is there's a lot of psychology play behind it. And I'm happy to go through that with you guys. But one of the biggest things is how we engage with people. We want to connect with people in such a way that when we meet together with multiple projects, when you guys come onto these episodes and listen, one of the biggest things there is just like, we're not L1X, we're not this project, we're not this, we're not that. When we come together as a group, we are temporarily setting aside our tribal thing, and we're actually becoming a, for that brief hour, we're coming together as members of this space. And that, I think, is a great show of what we're trying to do with Unity, and being able to kind of really drive the engagements in that safe space that allows us to have the necessary discussions and discuss the hard topics, challenges, innovations, regulatory compliance issues, everything across the board in a healthy conversation that does drive debate and does drive change. And so that's where I think we can come together and really unite as a group of crypto enthusiasts, I guess you could say. So do you want to say something, Mike?
Yeah, I was just going to add in there, one big thing that comes out of that as a result of building all of those things is actually education. So for people who it's the discussions, the collaboration, it just builds that the education for those users that are listening and even the participants.
Yep, exactly. And one of the other reasons why this is so successful, spaces are so successful for a marketing, especially for crypto projects right now, is that voice can do so much more than what written text can, right? A person's tonality, being able to make that emotional connection with somebody, it moves them from knowing, I know the L1X team, the four of us sitting here on this Brady Bunch screen here, versus I know the team, and it, like, almost feels personal. Like, I know Kevin, I know Mike, I know Lionel, and I know Cody, right? And that's because we're able to have that voice context. Unfortunately, white papers don't build trust. Sorry, Mike, I know you love that, but a lot of people don't like to hear the data. There are some people that do. They love to get into the weeds of things, but in reality, it boils down to storytelling and being able to connect emotionally with that kind of stuff. And so that's where spaces can do it really, really well. And, you see these projects out there, and my heart breaks for them because they don't give spaces enough of credit and take full advantage of that opportunity. And so, like I said, maybe I'll jump on and do just kind of a random space. You guys are more than willing, welcome to jump in there, and I'll break down each of these different sections because it is kind of fun. I'll give you some examples of what we do to kind of, change narratives and get people to think certain way, and, really open up that dialogue so that we can break down walls. And I can tell you personally, since we've started doing this, we've been doing it for almost 2 years now. And as a result of that, I have come across some hard-nosed projects that would not even open the door to conversation. And they give us 60 minutes being on a call or, like a space with them where we dive into a general topic, not talking about our projects or anything like that, but just a general topic. And now one of them is actually listed and working with us currently. So that is a huge testament to the power of what spaces could do. So with that being said, let's go on to the next one. I'll give you guys some good stats here. So like I said, for the last 2 years, we've been doing this, but we just basically hit our year mark. We started in September of the 2 years ago. Over the last year, we've reached 11 million people, and 2.8 million of those people have listened more than, on average, 30 minutes or more of our 60-minute AMAs, which is huge because we do quite a few different formats, right? We do the roundtable discussion, we do the 10-minute pitch, and we also do interviews. Right now, we're averaging about 3 spaces a day that's either participating or hosting spaces. And our average live listeners is about 358, and we're looking at about 1,300 on recorded listeners over a 30-day period. So our stats are really good. And if you look at some of the other projects that are listing hosting spaces and stuff, they love to see L1X come in because we bring the community when we come. So kudos to you guys for helping support that. That is huge for us, and it's only going to keep growing. So go on to the next slide for me. So with that, Kevin and I have been kind of talking about how can we expand? How can we keep this momentum going with the success that we have? Because, we want to be, Kevin and I are both in agreement that we want to be leading some of these hard discussions, right? So one of the ones that we've been doing is the quantum resistant thing, getting battle tested, getting ready for what's to come in the next few years. That's an example of what we're talking about by leading the discussion in something. And it's a great way for us to continue to not only promote L1X, but it's also a great way for us to promote the projects that are building on us and help support them as well. So one of the things that we'll be looking to do in 2026, if you remember, if you participate in the Discord community, I threw out a little poll a few months ago to try to get some ideas of what days and times might be better, because we are growing into a global brand with multiple time zones and with our community members. And so we want to make sure that everybody can participate in live events if they want to. And we'll also be looking to add a few more show formats. And then this is something that Kevin and I have been kind of baking on over the last little bit, as well as just trying to figure out how we can kind of create the X Talk series into a flywheel that helps build out a lot of the the marketing for projects, provide a little bit more utility to the quantum DEX, and also bring more transactions, bring more users, and bring more engagement. And I think we've got some pretty cool things. We talked for a little while, what was that, day or two ago, about some ideas that I had around this. And so we're still baking on it, but I think I think we could probably bring something pretty soon. So with that being said, thank you again to all of our community members. I love and appreciate your guys' support. It makes my life a lot easier to champion the voice from the community in these spaces as we represent L1X and what we can do along with all of our other projects. So if you are a project listening in that is already on the L1X DEX or even in the ecosystem, and you have not participated in any of our roundtable discussions, 10-minute pitch, or one-on-one interviews, please feel free to DM me. It's Cryptonaut22 on Telegram as well as on Twitter. Let's get you started. You can also go to the L1X app, and off to the side, you'll see X Talks. Click on that, and at the bottom you can go down and register and schedule for either of our formats. So likewise, if you are a community member and you are participating in other projects that you think would be a good fit for our format, let's do this. It's all about uniting crypto, so keep that in mind. We would love to host them. We'd love to even participate in their AMAs as well. So thanks, everybody. We appreciate you. That's all for me.
All right. Thanks, Cody. And moving on to the first one. The first slide we've put up here is one I've shown a few times already, and it's about the fear and greed index, and that comes from Market Maker. And what we're showing at the moment is literally across the crypto market. In mainly, there's obviously that big focus on Bitcoin, but we're in a fear zone at the moment, and I think a lot of that is basically driven by a lot of the negative news that's coming out of Europe and Russia. Now, this week we've seen Bitcoin fall below the key level of 110, and it's actually rebounded. And I noticed a little earlier that it's sitting. Bitcoin's rebounded to about 119,500 odd, which is really good to see. Now, if we continue to see negative news coming out, then we're likely to see that drop back. But I think that let's hope that's only going to be a short-term thing, and the international news lightens up a little bit. There's interest in Bitcoin options, and it remained about the same level as last week. That's also one of the factors that's actually indicating continued correction. Now, even though I've just said before that it's sitting at about 119,000, I think we might see a bounce back from that. That's my impression at the moment. So it's like I said, it's sitting in a fear zone, and that's likely because of Europe and Russia. Now, the other one is sorry, Kevin. Just moving on. I meant to tell you around Bitcoin. This is where the red line is where I think it's probably going to head down to, but let's hope that's not the case, and it picks back up again. We start seeing it moving back up into the 120 plus range, and I think we're likely by the end of the year, hopefully, going to see around 130, 140, which would be good. Moving on to the next one, Kev, thanks, and which is L1X. Now, the price is still pretty much moving sideways. It has dropped down a little bit, and I think part of that is probably due to, as Kevin said, around excuse me, the drop in the liquidity side of things. But I suspect over time that'll probably pick up as we start onboarding some of those, the more utility-based projects and things that we've got in the wings. And once we see that, we'll start seeing the price jump up again. But all, we're pretty happy with where the pricing's sitting at the moment. We do want to see it increase, but the thing that'll see that increase is actually bringing on a lot more trading volume from those projects. Now, as Kevin said before, we were talking about the loan model. We've got version 2 coming out. Some of those things will actually bring a lot more stability across as well, and we'll start seeing some benefits coming out of it. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that, Cody, Mike, and Leo. As a closing statement, look, I think over the last couple of weeks, it's been a lot of work. Like the whole team, everyone is working day in and night in terms of making sure that each and every part of this machinery is progressing, and it has been progressing. The results are showing up. From looking at it only through the spectrum of, the release pool is not justified for the whole protocol as of right now. Probably, as I mentioned previously, right, we need to give it a little bit time to go in, hold up its price, hold up its liquidity, so that all this momentum that we are building, also helps in making sure that the release pool gets that continuous flow of liquidity through and throughout. And the other part to it is we are excited to make sure that the mobile compatible version goes out. We also have the L1X Play going out, right, which increases the transactions, liquidity, volume, which is very much required for the release pool. So if you sit back and look at each and everything that we are doing that to make sure the liquidity will flow into the release pool as time progresses. I think all in all, it's been amazing. The last few weeks has been amazing. We've got a lot of work to do yet, but the team has been working extremely hard. That cannot be denied at all. We are pushing in terms of whatever we can to make sure that the liquidity, the volume, the transactions, users keep growing as well. And I think it's also one of the result of the amazing community that we've got. Of course, there will be, as I always mention, people are also unhappy with God. I'm still a human. So there will always be people that will be unhappy, and I can't do it. I can't keep everyone happy. But at the end, we are doing all we can to make sure that over a period of time, this thing grows. And with the efforts of the community as well, we've seen some amazing community members reach out to me almost every day, appreciating the amount of work that goes in, because it's very hard to sit on the other side of the fence, and it's like playing cricket, looking at it like you should have hit it that way, but you're not the one batting. So it's hard. It's a little hard, right? And I wish I could convey that message. How hard it can be to get things going off the ground. But that being said, we've got some amazing community members. You've seen that through the X talk, for example, right? That's a testament right there, right in front of your eyes. That people, there are believers. Majority of them are believers in our protocol, and we'll keep pushing and we'll keep doing our best. And of course, the liquidity is yet to come. The release pool is yet to flow, but we are not stopping until that happens as well, right? We are sitting here. We are right here. We are not gone away. We are here. We are making sure that things move into the direction and we get this thing done. So thank you to all the community members for your constant faith and continuous, support.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kev. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Do anybody else want to say anything?
No, go for it, Cody. It's all yours.
No. I just want to echo what Kevin's saying about the community, but kind of going back to what he was saying about the release pool. Our narrative has always been the same for the last 3 years. We need to get projects to build the transactions to bring the liquidity. It's a domino effect of things, and I know Kevin is like me and Mike and Lionel on this one. We all wish we could just wave our Harry Potter wand and have it completely there overnight for us, because you guys definitely deserve it, right? It will come. It will come. And like I said, it is a great feeling to see projects when you click on their Twitter bios to see L1X, Quantum DeX, part of that kind of thing. But it's also fun to jump on these projects and actually have people from other big projects say, oh, I've heard of you guys. Yeah, you guys are doing some cool stuff over there, right? Well, have you checked this out? No, but I need to, right? That's the kind of narrative that we're at, where before they're like, L1X, who? Like, I've never heard of you guys, right? So we've kind of made a curve, turned a corner there as well. And over time, it will just be a matter of keeping the grind, but the grind will come to a stop once we start hitting that hockey stick of growth, and it will come. It will come. And to Kevin's point, we're here grinding every single day. And if we weren't grinding every single day, it wouldn't go anywhere. Might as well fold up shop. But we're here grinding every single day for you.
Yep. I agree. Okay, guys, thanks for that. And Leo or Mike, if you want to say something, or should I just?
No, I think from me, looking at the L1X play, the very first thing that came into my head, and it's a bit silly, but anyway, is the picture you showed in there was reminiscent of a boat that they tried to launch, boat face. And I think what we might do is we could even have a competition out there around that for naming the plane.
Yep.
Just throwing a light one out there. Yeah,
nice one.
There's some ideas. Anyway.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I would say we are gonna end this year, pretty well. Like, a lot of things have been done. It's still coming in. Just more than 60 days left, but some major features going out. So just hold on. It's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Hey, we've seen a mobile version coming. Yeah, that's gonna be really good.
We're gonna end the year with 2 out of the 4 of us still having hair. So that's a great sign, guys. So anyways,
amazing. Thanks again, guys, and thanks to the community members again, for your continuous support, and we can see that. So I think let's just keep pushing. Let's just keep doing what we are good at, and we'll get there. Thanks, guys.
100%. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah.